everyone, I'm Jen.
And I'm Joe.
And we're Jen and Joe
on the go. We're doing this, aren't we?
Okay, so if you're not living under a rock,
or you haven't spent the last few days in space and you're just coming back, hold on, I need a little bit of courage. All right.
Friday, the Supreme Court.
Yeah, let me just say this first. This is normally not what we do on our channel.
No.
If we're going to express our opinion, and our opinion is usually pretty strong, it is usually directed towards Disney. Most everything else we do on this channel is light and fun, and we try to have a good time. We're, fun time Sallies, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
We are the Disney drinkers.
Right, except for when we criticize Disney for good and legitimate reasons. But for the most part, everything else, we don't really dip our toes into controversial subjects.
I do occasionally on Twitter and most recently on Instagram.
Right. But I mean, for our YouTube channel, we're, usually what we do. But
with Friday's Supreme Court ruling, Joe and I felt the need to hopefully briefly
hopefully
talk to you about how we feel about this. I have made it pretty public on Instagram. If you want to see what I've posted on my reels at Jen and Joe on the Go. And this is Friday's decision took away a women's right of privacy, because Roe versus Wade was based on that, taking away a women's right to privacy. It doesn't matter if you are pro-choice, pro-life, you fall somewhere in between. This is what they did Friday was so horrible, and I don't want to speculate, but my fear is that this will lead to other drastic changes that women and minorities and the LGBTQ community have fought so hard for. This has reversed all of that by 50 years. 50 years ago, Roe versus Wade was put into place, and it's so disheartening, and it's sad. And if you think this isn't going to affect you, you're wrong. This decision will affect everyone in some way, shape, or form, especially if the Supreme Court continues on their path of destruction. And
yeah, well, the unknown is the fear, and
yes.
The fear of the unknown, we can guess, speculate, whatever, but we don't know what's going to happen with that. What we do know is what has happened. And the Supreme Court has said we're going to leave it up to the states. So each individual state will set their laws, mandates, regulations, whatever you want to call it, for what people can do in each one of the states.
And let me just say, Joe and I have always hated living in Illinois, but I would say after Friday's decision, we are so happy to be living in the state of Illinois, and we never thought we would say that.
I've lived here my entire life, and every year I'm like, yeah, as soon as I can leave, I'm leaving, and I'll never come back to the state again. And the plan was always to move to Florida, but the way Florida has changed, just with the population growth and the prices and all of the rest, it's like, well, maybe. I hate to say it, but yeah, we're
That's the
here.
most undesirable place for us personally to want to live right now.
Oh gosh, and that's really sad because I had planned to move there for 30 years. But anyway, it's a whole nother topic. This is heavy. This is very, very deep. I have never, even with the girls here, I've never really openly talked about my opinion regarding abortion, whether it's right or wrong. To me, I'm a guy, and when it comes down to it, I'm never ever going to truly understand what a woman thinks, feels, or is going through regarding getting pregnant, during pregnancy, giving birth.
Or any person with a uterus.
Well, yes, I can have compassion and try to understand, but at the same time, I'm never really going to understand because I can't personally have that experience. What is it like to have a life growing inside of you? I can't personally know. You know. What does it feel like to give birth? I'm never going to know. You know, right? So, that said, I can look at this and say, well, there's a difference of opinion. And whenever there is a difference of opinion, in order to resolve it, there has to be some sort of compromise. And how do you get to a compromise? There has to be a middle ground. I feel like the way things have changed in this country, we are so divided in the last 20 years especially. It has to be my way or the highway. It is only what I think and what I believe, and it doesn't matter what you think, what you believe. If you think and believe differently than me, then you are inferior, you are stupid, and your opinion doesn't count. Why? Because you don't believe what I believe. Now, it doesn't matter if my belief is based on ignorance. It doesn't matter if my belief is based upon misinformation. If I believe what I believe, everyone else should believe it. Well, that is a very, very unhealthy way to think. It is a very, very unhealthy way to have a society based upon supposed freedoms and based upon the idea that we are all created equal. Now, we all know, right, the idea of being created equal is very, very different than the execution. But as we have moved forward, we have tried so hard to make everyone more equal, right? Women with the right to vote, minorities with the right to end slavery, all whatever. You go down the list. And we try really hard to get everybody more equal.
To move forward with equality and people's rights. And this has just, again, set us back. And my personal opinion is these Supreme Court justices did not separate church and state. They made it all about their personal beliefs. And this is just my opinion.
Right. We don't have any proof of that, but you can go based upon...
But you can go based on...
Right. I know. And so did it play a part? Possibly. If they say they're just looking at the Constitution and taking everything else away from it, I guess that's a possibility too, but it's kind of hard to separate it, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they have said they're more conservative. They've said what they believe about pro-life versus pro-choice. So when the justices go a certain way, are they really basing it on the Constitution, or are their personal or religious beliefs falling in? Okay, so, but again, we don't have proof, so that's just speculation.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Well,
going from states that support a women's right to choose versus states that are not allowing women to make their own decisions.
Right. So now here's the question. Those states that are not allowing the decisions, what are they saying? Why are they not allowing the decisions? They're saying that the life is a life upon conception, or shortly thereafter.
Which I don't think that's fair, because not all religions feel that way.
So here's where we come to the impasse. If one side says life upon conception, and there's another side, like the Jewish faith, that says first breath, life upon birth. So you've got two extremes. So how do you compromise to that? How do you get to a point where you decide, okay, this is wrong and this is right, or this is wrong and this is right? That's where compromise comes in. So you have to try to find some way to get to a middle ground. And with every compromise, both parties walk away unhappy. That means that you're successful because you didn't get everything that you wanted. Mm-hmm. But if you get part of what you want, the other side gets part of what they want, then you've walked away successful. How do you get to that point, though? When it comes to this, when people have such strong beliefs regarding conception, first breath, where's the middle? I've always said, take everything else out of it. Take everything out, whatever your beliefs are, whether it is religious or whatever you think you've learned regarding whatever. Go based on one thing, and that's science. If you can go with science and data and facts, then it's going to be easier to make a more educated decision. You take everything else out of it. If you want to compromise, my personal belief is you go based on that. Science and the progress that people have made with all sorts of stuff, especially medical. has changed everything. Your father lived an additional 8.5 years because of medicine. So many people will go and have successful surgeries to improve a quality of life or save life. They'll take different medication to improve quality of life or save life. They will do things with medication to prevent diseases, whether it is a vaccine or something else. People with MS can take different meds to live a more productive life, to prevent the decay of their body and the spinal cord and the nerves and all these other problems, right? So all the meds that are out there. If you have cancer, you are getting treatment to help improve your life or extend your life. So when it comes to this and science and medicine, we're okay to have all of that, life-saving surgeries, right? But when it comes to this now, it is such a hot topic that we can't rely on science and modern medicine to at least give us some direction. No, we can't, because there are too many people who are so emotionally invested and they have too many preconceived notions and they're too stubborn to look at the other side. It is just this way and this is the only way, and I'm not going to look at the other side.
And the bottom line is, so you have 9 Supreme Court justices and 5 ruled to overturn Roe versus Wade. It's just so sad for me, because so many people are going to be affected by this in such a negative way. And we don't have to talk about that. It's been talked to death in the last couple of days, but there's nothing positive that came out of this ruling.
No, nothing positive at all.
It's going to make things so much more difficult for so many more people, especially if you are a minority, especially if you...
minority, because they have less of a chance to have better quality care,
right.
Access to better quality health care.
Right. Right.
Ultimately, I'm going to say, as a man, I am not going to say one way or the other. Do I agree with abortion or do I disagree with abortion? It's irrelevant. What I think and what I feel about that is completely irrelevant. What I feel is that there has been an opportunity to try to move forward with different topics within this country over the last couple of decades. And we fail miserably because so many people are not willing to compromise. There is this...
And they're too self-serving.
Absolutely. Whether it is personal people in their personal lives or the politicians in DC or even state politicians. If there is an opportunity to work together and compromise, then we can get anything done. We have proven again and again over different generations that we can do things when we set our mind to it. But when we're divided and we get caught up and distracted by whatever these beliefs are that we think are important, or your limited ability to understand because you are listening to people who are incorrect, you're getting misinformation, and then worst of all, you're siding with your political party because you have to. Because if you don't, then you are ostracized from your political party. And we have 2 political parties in this country. So you're either here or you're there. And if you don't agree with whatever's happening within your party, you will be basically shunned, ostracized. And that is not the best way to run a country. It is not the best way to represent the people within this country. So, for me, regardless of what the topic is, it always comes down to hot topic, very opinionated people with very strong opinions regarding their side of whatever the topic is. And it always comes down to the same thing. Unless you're able to compromise and come to some sort of middle ground, you're never ever going to get anywhere. Ever. And it's always going to be this back and forth. And then you're going to have more resentment and more anger and more hatred. The way to get past all of it is to compromise. And to compromise, you need to have some principles that you can base your compromise on. And to me, it is science and facts and data. That simple. You go with that, and now at least you have something that you can rely on And that could potentially change in the future because science is always changing. You're finding out new things all the time when it comes to data and science and medicine and all of it. But if you take opinion and whatever your religious beliefs might be or whatever the dogmas you are listening to, you take all that out and just focus on data and facts. And it'll guide you in a direction where you could be more successful. And then at the end of it, everyone is maybe not 100% happy, but definitely happier than all this fighting that's constantly going on. It is really sad because we are more divided in this country than we have ever been.
And this is going to divide us even more.
Oh, this is, and
so to wrap it up, we are not celebrating 4th of July this year. We're going to have a family dinner, because I don't feel like we have any type of independence when our privacy and our rights as women are taken away.
But let's expand on that just for a half a second. Because what we talked about before is the whole HIPAA thing, the privacy part of this. Now, if as a woman you decide you want to go to another state to get an abortion because you can't get it in your own state, is that going to be reported somewhere? Is there going to be a list that says you had an abortion, and that's going to be shared with the government or other people? It is a medical procedure, and some might say, well, that's not going to happen. It's HIPAA. You can't violate privacy.
The changing of the overturning of Roe versus Wade would happen, and it just did. So if you think things aren't going to happen, you need to think again, because it can definitely happen. So going back to the 4th of July, we are not celebrating. We are not going to fireworks. We are wearing black.
We are?
We are.
Oh.
Because I feel like a little bit of our independence has been taken away. And there's no reason this year to celebrate the 4th of July because it's all a farce, in my opinion. And you may be like, oh, Jen, you're overreacting. I don't really think I am. This is a sad day for women. It's a sad day for our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters, our nieces, our aunts, our husbands, our fathers, our brothers.
Everybody.
This is going to affect everyone in some way because this, I'm sorry, I don't want to fearmonger, but I feel this is the beginning. This is just the beginning.
And again, it doesn't matter what you believe regarding abortion. It doesn't matter whether you think it's okay or it's not okay. You're going to be affected by this because there's going to be somebody you know who is going to have a situation where they're going to need to do this, whether it is an ectopic pregnancy, it is a life that is no longer viable, a miscarriage. I didn't mention this yet. Viability, just to keep this in mind, it's a 40-week gestational period. Viability is at 23 to 24 weeks. 22 weeks, maybe, but it's very, very rare for a baby to be able to survive properly at 22 weeks. 23, 24, again, science and medicine has been able to progress to a point where they can save a life and that life can flourish. But that's at 23, 24 weeks. Prior to that, some might say it's a life, but there is no living without the mother. And so there has to be a point in time where there is a compromise that says, yes, it's okay. Or there has to be at least something written that says it's okay if it is this, this, or this. These medical conditions, these situations, that it's okay.
And we just don't know right now.
We don't know. And it's up to each individual state to write that. And so how crazy is that we are 50
we are
small
one
countries.
Nation
No,
divided.
we're 50 small countries all grouped together, fooled into thinking we're one country.
Why do people want to live here? This, the United States is not.
It's not like it used to be. No, it's not at all like it used to be at all. And, whatever. That's a whole nother topic of conversation.
Anyway, Joe and I just want women and anyone who has a uterus, anyone that is affected by this, man, woman, anyone.
Yeah, well, it's everyone. Everyone's going to be affected by this.
Anyone. We stand with you, and we are so sorry, and we are feeling your pain.
Look, even if you have never had an abortion yourself, or you don't know anyone who's had an abortion, you're affected by this because it is a topic of a conversation, and you know someone who is affected by it, whether it is just emotionally or not. You know someone, which means you're having a conversation, which means you're affected. So it affects every single person in this country. Every single person. And if you don't have any kind of feeling about this whatsoever, then I don't know, maybe you need to open your eyes, wake up and listen, or have a conversation with somebody. And ultimately it comes down to trying to have some empathy, some understanding, some compassion for what other people are going through.
Because you don't know the situation or the reasons for someone having to go through something so horrific.
Right.
I can't imagine anyone out there going, oh yay, I'm gonna have an abortion today. I can't even imagine that. So have empathy and sympathy and care for other people, because although their feelings may not be like yours, they do have the right to privacy. They do have the right to make their own decisions. And Joe and I support everyone out there. And again, we're just so sad this happened. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your support. If our views don't align with yours, it's okay. It's totally okay.
The other thing,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
We just feel very strongly about this, and we're very saddened by Friday's overturn.
But then what can we do about it? I mean, we have two daughters who have been very politically active and aware, especially Allie. So in having conversations with them, and especially Allie, you might feel helpless. So what can you do?
Educate yourself.
Well, educate yourself, but also, regardless, again, we have the two-party system, and it just completely, that sucks. So you can't just vote one way or the other and think it's all going to be okay just simply because you don't know what else you're going to get. One side might be more in line with what you think or believe for certain parts, but there might be other things that you don't like. Okay, whatever. I think regardless of who your representative is, the thing you can do is contact your representative and just let them know as nicely, politely, and peacefully as possible. You let them know, I don't agree with this, and this is why. And please do something to fix it. We're lucky enough where our representative from the House in our area right here is a strong advocate for a lot of things that help this community. And she's very vocal about it, and she shares a lot of information about it. So that part is actually really kind of nice. I've never had that with any other rep in our area.
And she's a nurse.
Yeah, well, it used to be, but yeah. So I think that's ultimately one of the things that you can do. Just contact your representative. And again, peacefully, politely, express your dissatisfaction with whatever and ask them to do something to make this a priority. Now, if the Supreme Court has overturned this law from Roe versus Wade, or not the law, but the judgment, what could we do? What could possibly happen? Outside of each individual state coming up with their own ideas and mandates and laws, if there is a federal law, there can be a statute written. It's going to take a whole lot of energy and time and whatever, but that's why I'm saying contact a representative. Because if they can create a law that is written in a way that if it gets to the Supreme Court, it's ironclad and there's no room for misinterpretation, then the Supreme Court can't overturn anything. But if there's a law that is written that says, this is legal, this is the compromise we've made, this is legal, this is why, President signs it, now it's law. Right? And now the Supreme Court can't overturn it because it is written in an ironclad way. So there is that. There's also a couple things I wanted to mention, that the FDA, the Attorney General yesterday or Friday, within the last 2 days, specifically stated that because it is FDA approved, the two drugs that are abortion pills,
the morning after
pills, the states cannot prevent people from getting those pills because they're FDA approved. So they have no authority to supersede the FDA and what they clear as deemed safe. So there is still that. You would need a doctor and a prescription for it, but there's still that option within the first 10 weeks. Within the first 10 weeks, that is an option. All right. So there is that. Hopefully you do it before the 10-week period, but just saying. Also, the states, and we'll see if this is going to stay, but the states cannot prevent someone or punish someone from going to another state to have an abortion. So they cannot prevent that from happening.
I don't know that I agree with that.
No. That's what the Attorney General said that.
Okay.
Now, whether it's going to actually happen is another question, but they cannot prevent someone from traveling to another state to get health care. The health care is written within your state. But if you travel to, let's say, the best doctors in New York, I have to go to New York to get a surgery.
Did you know that all the states surrounding Illinois are banning
Yeah,
abortion?
yeah, but not Illinois. So, yeah, I know. It's interesting. Really interesting. So we'll see. Again, if you're anywhere and you have an opportunity to contact your senator or representative from the House, contact them and just express your dissatisfaction politely, peacefully, and hopefully things will change. But
We're sorry this is such a downer video, but we felt the need.
this whole freaking thing sucks. And it's not just this, it's all of this crap that's been going on the last however many years. It's exhausting and it's tiring, and the divide in this country is getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't know. You need to listen to what those 4 lads from Britain said all those years ago. The 4 lads from Britain.
What 4 lads?
The Beatles.
Oh.
And what did the Beatles say?
All you need is love.
Thank you, Jennifer. All you need is love. Right? And those are the same people, the Brits, that we supposedly fought against and rebelled against in order to create our own country. And yet, a couple hundred years later, I don't know. Just listen to Paul, John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
So hopefully all of you will not celebrate 4th of July this year, and you will wear black to mourn.
Well, but the flip side of it is that celebrate the fact that you have a way to change things if you're able to change them. Contact your representatives, and again, it's not going to be just simply voting, because I think voting is not going to be enough to do it. You need to contact them and or support people that really truly have these hot topic items that you believe in, and go with that. So at least we have that to be grateful for.
For what it's worth.
For what it's worth.
For what it's worth.
I get it, Jen. I know. Sorry. All right.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully you guys have an okay day. I don't know. So, all right. You okay?
I'm just sad.
I know. I'm sad too. It really sucks. But
bye, guys.
All right, we'll talk to you next time. Hopefully the next video will be a little better. All right, bye for now.